Watching his son die on the spot, Conrad was completely powerless. Richie even kept mocking him clearly, satisfied with his revenge. Just as the killer was about to make a move on the woman, Jamie stopped him. It turned out that a few minutes earlier, after learning what was happening, Conrad's son urgently contacted Harry and told him about the situation. Harry was stunned. He never expected Richie to act so decisively, so he made a call he least wanted to make. Aboard a private jet, a highly influential woman answered the phone. It was she who intervened to stop the massacre. It seemed that to her, something like this was nothing more than a flick of her finger, yet she clearly took Harry very seriously, as if the two shared a past unknown to others. In the end, the farce came to an end under Richie's puzzled gaze. The woman also returned safely to Harry's side. Everyone knew perfectly well that getting someone out of Jamie's hands was nothing short of an impossible miracle. When they learned that Harry also had ties to Kate, they were left with nothing but shock and lingering fear, because they understood all too clearly that mishandling a relationship with Kate would bring utter destruction upon them. On the surface, Conrad comforted Harry, yet Harry had no idea that the other man had already begun to suspect him.
Why don't you go that way?
Nah, kid's gotta come with us.
Seeing that the other side was better equipped, he immediately chose to run, but those people had no intention of letting them go. Both sides chased each other all the way. Eventually arriving at a small town, the woman planned to use the town's complicated layout to shake the enemies. But the other side wasn't stupid. They took a shortcut straight to the main road. Eddie thought he had lost them, and finally let out a sigh of relief. But to his surprise, they caught up in an instant, pulled out their weapons and opened fire.
If you get the chance to kill him, kill him! Ah!
The woman seized the moment and suddenly turned. In the end, they escaped by the skin of their teeth and safely delivered Eddie to Conrad's house. Seeing that his grandson was unharmed, Conrad finally relaxed. As the eldest grandson of the Harrigan family, Eddie acted arrogantly toward everyone, but Harry was the one exception. With just a single look, Harry made Eddie obediently reveal what really happened that night. It turned out that besides him and Tommy, there were two other boys. Tommy was likely taken away by them. Harry didn't fully believe Eddie's words, but in order to find more clues, he still decided to go find those two people. When conflicts become impossible to resolve, what should you do? This method may be simple and brutal, but it's absolutely effective. After everyone was dealt with, the boss finally showed up. He was the real mastermind behind it all. Anyone who didn't obey would be handled without mercy. Harry was his most trusted subordinate, often responsible for doing the dirty work. Holding such a position, trouble was unavoidable. Before long, Harry's son stabbed someone. When Harry heard the news, he didn't panic at all. Clearly, he already had a plan. He told his son to throw away all the clothes from last night, then drove straight to the crime scene. He pulled out a fake police badge, successfully earning the staff's trust. Then he found the owner and said he needed to check the surveillance footage, but the man refused to cooperate and saw through the fact that he wasn't a real cop. Sensing something was wrong, his partner stepped in to warn him Harry had been prepared for this. He immediately pulled out a handgun to threaten them. The two were genuinely terrified by Harry, and the surveillance evidence was successfully erased. In the end, he had to reach the hospital before the police. Using his connections, Harry quickly found the victim. He demanded that the man repeat Harry's version of the story to the police, or this kind of thing would happen all over again. After a round of verbal intimidation, the man finally gave in. After handling everything, Harry was finally able to relax. But just at that moment, another piece of bad news came in. To rob the bank, they dug a tunnel over 100 meters long, a tunnel that led straight into the vault. To cover their teammates, stealing the safe deposit boxes, Chopper and the other two staged a front door robbery. They blocked every exit and destroyed every camera. They waited for the guard to call the police, then let him go. He warned the officers. There were 20 hostages inside the bank. Meanwhile, their partners had already smashed through the vault wall. They pulled out their homemade lock-picking device, a portable hydraulic machine. It only took 7 seconds to open a single lock. Then they started ripping through the safe deposit boxes like crazy. At the same time, the chief called to start negotiations. But Chopper wasn't nervous at all. All he needed to do was stall for time. He had even bought a police criminal negotiation handbook. The chief was quite satisfied with their conversation, but he never imagined that the real purpose of the robbery was simply to buy time. When the scheduled retreat time arrived, Chopper didn't hesitate for a second. He regrouped everyone and pulled out immediately. They slipped into the tunnel and made it to the sewer, but unexpectedly, the engine refused to start. With no time to think, they had to paddle manually. On the other side, the police, seeing no movement, stormed the bank. And the moment they saw the hole in the wall, they regretted it instantly. The officers followed the tunnel to chase them, but Chopper and the others had already reached their rendezvous point and escaped by car successfully. The boy only questioned his father's shooting skills, and his father broke his leg for it. But the man still felt it wasn't enough, so he fired another shot into his son's back. The mother was devastated. She rushed over to save her son, only to cause the death of her other child. The mother collapsed emotionally in an instant. Yet Jack, who was killing for the first time, remained eerily calm. He ordered his wife to sit on the ground, then forced her to feed the boy. After she obeyed, Jack seemed very satisfied. He gave his wife 10 seconds to run for her life, then turned and climbed up the watchtower. But before she had gone more than a few steps, Jack shot her down to make sure she wasn't still alive. Jack fired another shot, but it wasn't over yet. He went on to shoot dozens of crows and neatly arranged their bodies together, forming a perfect piece of art. Afterward, to escape the punishment of the law, Jack decided to turn himself in, but the appearance of a woman completely disrupted his plan. The woman had a flat tire and asked Jack to take her to a nearby repair shop. Jack didn't want to get involved, but before he could even refuse, the woman got into the car on her own. Along the way, she talked non-stop, yet instead of thanking Jack, she said he didn't look like a good person, more like a murderer. Jack ignored her, but his silence was taken as weakness, so the woman began mocking him even more. Finally, Jack snapped. He looked at his blood-soaked hands and felt that this was all God's will. The man lined the victims up in a straight line and sets up a sniper rifle directly in front of them. He wants to test how many people this kind of bullet can pierce in one shot. But just as Jack is about to pull the trigger, one of the victims speaks up and interrupts him. He says the bullet Jack is using is just an ordinary hunting round and it cannot satisfy his artistic pursuit. Jack is a severe perfectionist. He cannot tolerate even the slightest flaw, so he drives into the forest. The owner of the house is an old friend of Jack's. Jack pushes the door open, intending to catch up, but the old man suddenly pulls out a gun and points it at him and calls the police to come and arrest him, realizing he is trapped. Jack does not humbly beg the old man to spare him. Instead, he plays on their shared emotions while tightly gripping a dagger in his hand as Jack keeps talking about their past. The old man gradually lets down his guard. Jack suddenly launches an attack straight at a vital spot, then grabs the full metal jacket bullets and rushes back to the freezer to make sure nothing can go wrong. Jack marks the ground with tape. Just as he is about to fire, an unfamiliar voice suddenly appears. Jack follows the sound and discovers a man in a suit sitting in the corner of the freezer. The man brutally murdered his family and transported their bodies to a freezer for cold storage. He even arranged the corpses into specific poses when Jack saw these bodies. An even darker idea took root in his mind, so he began a frenzied killing spree. This time, he set his sights on the widow. Claire Jack lied and claimed he was an insurance salesman, saying he could help her apply for double compensation for her late husband. Claire didn't hesitate and invited Jack into her home after entering the house. Jack immediately dropped his disguise while the woman went to pour some water. Jack grabbed her by the neck and brutally killed her. He tied the body to his vehicle, then floored the gas and sped off. However, he forgot about the bloodstains on the ground. Back at the freezer, Jack finally noticed the blood trail on the road. Just as anxiety took over, a heavy rain suddenly began to fall, completely washing away the blood on the ground. Jack believed he was being protected by God and became even more reckless in his crimes. Every day, he was either committing a crime or on his way to commit one. He carried body after body back to the freezer with each additional corpse. His mind became more twisted than before. Harry had just gotten home, only to realize his family was being targeted by hitmen.
Harry?
Drop the car.
Watch how he uses the calmest tone to say the most bone-chilling words.
I say, it's after me. We shoot families now as
I
well.
couldn't give a fuck about your family.
Harry is a legendary problem solver in the underworld. Simply because he got caught up in a power struggle between London's two major crime families, he became a target of the Stevenson family's manhunt. But Harry's reputation in the criminal world made the assassins extremely wary. Harry calmly pulled out his phone and dialed the crime boss directly.
Loud and clear, Harry. Loud and clear.
Harry knows the backgrounds of underworld figures inside and out. He gently but clearly warned the two hitmen if they dared lay a hand on his family, then before they even made it back home, they would discover that none of their family members, or even their pets, would be left alive. The two hitmen immediately started trembling with fear. They knew exactly who Harry was, and the power behind him.
In your own time, boys. In your own time.
In the end, Harry even thoughtfully gave them a suggestion. Tell your boss that you came to my house, but I had already taken my family and disappeared. The two hitmen were completely under his control, and just like that, without spilling a drop of blood, Harry calmly escaped the pursuit with his wife and daughter.
This way.
Jay.
Get back, man.
Jay.
What is it, man?
In London, you can know no one, but you absolutely can't not know Harry. Luckily, they recognized the gun, and that saved them from disaster, but the bar owner wasn't so fortunate.
Where's Tommy?
The owner tried to fight back, but he was no match for Harry. Harry was brutally ruthless, and the owner was beaten into serious injury in no time. After repeated interrogation, the owner finally revealed Tommy's whereabouts, yet a quiet sense of unease crept into Harry's mind. The owner led Harry to the freezer and pointed at a box on the floor. Harry couldn't believe it. There was no way a box that small could hold a person, yet inside was the heir to the Stevenson family. Harry felt his head was about to explode. How was he supposed to explain this to Richie? But he quickly regained his composure and looked at the owner.
Did you do that? Well, all on your own.
After hearing the owner's answer, Harry suddenly had a new idea, so he went to find Kevin, ready to set a major plan in motion.
What's that, mate?
No, please, please, please.
Harry pulls out photos of the man's family. He uses them to threaten him into meeting the Stevenson family. He must take full responsibility for killing Tommy. He is not allowed to reveal a single detail about Eddie. Kevin notices that the man is hesitating, so he promises that once the job is done, the man's family will be given a large sum of money. If he refuses, his entire family will be killed right now. The man has no other choice. He can only agree to the deal. But Kevin is still worried. If the Stevensons use torture, the man will likely break and tell the truth. For now, though, there is no better option. After carefully rehearsing every detail of the story, Harry makes a phone call to Richie. The moment Richie hears Harry's tone, he knows his son has already been killed, but he forces himself to hold back his tears, insisting on seeing his son with his own eyes. Harry knows Richie won't be easy to fool, but the police have been tailing him the whole time, so he switches cars with Kevin. As expected, the police follow Harry all the way. Only then do they realize Kevin has been leading them in circles.
Hello, Frisk.
Harry had just stolen the gang's motorcycle, but then he turned back, suspecting that someone had taken his belongings.
Any of you know LUC? Do you know LUC? Are you a criminal? You fucking look like one.
After a round of threats, someone was indeed scared into running away. Harry immediately chased after him, but this was far from over. In his rush to escape, the man tripped and fell. Before he could even get back up, Harry was already standing in front of him. Unable to endure the pain, the man finally gave up the location. But Harry had no idea it was a trap. He quietly moved in closer, and a fierce battle was about to erupt. These small-time thugs were no match for Harry. He knew there had to be guns waiting behind the door, so he ordered the captive to open it. Sure enough, the captive was instantly riddled with bullets. Dealing with a minor gang like this, Harry handled it with ease. When he saw others still putting up resistance, he stopped wasting time and ended the fight with a single grenade. By the time he found the boss, the man was already barely alive from the blast. However, those two had already been moved elsewhere. Left with no choice, Harry set off once again.
Villager.
The head of the Harrigan family and his wife were arrested and sent to prison. To keep his family out of harm's way, Harry moved them into a safe house. He then summoned the Harrigan family's lawyer. Harry already knew the truth. The mole inside the Harrigan family was the unremarkable lawyer standing in front of him.
I'm going to ask you some questions. It's very important you give me the truth. You know? First time. I'm not fucking around.
The lawyer knew exactly what Harry was capable of. To stay alive, she stopped hiding the truth. After learning everything, Harry formed a bold idea. He planned to use the lawyer to set a trap for Stevenson, so he let the lawyer go. But this was only just the beginning. The lawyer immediately called Stevenson, claiming that Harry had begun to suspect her and might be planning to make a move against her. Stevenson told her to meet him at a bar. When the two finally met, the lawyer confessed that Harry had discovered everything and was already setting his plan in motion against Stevenson. But Stevenson decided to play along and prepared a counter-trap. He arranged his men in advance, planning to eliminate Harry and Kevin first. Following Stevenson's orders, the lawyer made another call to Harry, confirming that the meeting was set. Harry hung up the phone, a confident, calculating smile on his face.